Okay, we're going to start. Hi, and welcome to the PredictWind Iridium Go and Offshore App webinar. I'm Nick Olsen, and sitting over here is Kira McMaster, and we're going to be your hosts today. And we've got a bunch of the PredictWind support team available to answer any questions that you have throughout the webinar. Today, we're really going to be doing an introduction on how you use the Iridium Go and the apps and the offshore app. We're not going to go too in depth. If you want to go in depth, you can ask our support team questions, and we'll also have the follow-up webinar tomorrow where you can get into the a little bit deeper into the products. Okay, so just before we get too far into it, just a little introduction to PredictWind. We've been around for about 10 years. Our goal is to make complex and accurate weather simple and accessible to anyone, anywhere on the planet. So with your satellite comms, that can be anywhere. So what we're going to do today is, the format is I'm going to talk about what you need to set up your Iridium Go. Kieran's going to talk about the Iridium Go app and the Iridium Mail app, and then I'm going to talk about the offshore app because I'm a weather routing geek, and then Kieran's going to talk about the PredictWind tracking. Okay, let's get started. What do we got here? So what we recommend that you get is the Marine Pack. We sell that at a super good price because we want people to use our weather service. We're a weather company. We want you to use the weather and get good weather. So what comes in the Marine Pack is, I'll start at the back, and we have our external antenna, and this is essential. This means that you can use your Iridium Go in any weather, anytime, just whenever you want it. And often it's in the heavy weather when you're really going to want to know what's coming, what's going on. This gives you the reception when you need it. How you attach this to your boat is you put it up the back of the boat in the push put area, and it comes with, in the pack, it comes with this here, which can attach to a rail or a mast that you have up the back. We recommend that it's somewhere up the back of your boat where it has a clear view of the horizon, so it can get the satellites. It picks up the satellites from about 8 degrees off the horizon and follows them through the sky, and it picks up the next one. So that being clear is very important. The next bit is this cable here, and this cable connects this antenna to the Go unit inside, and so you've got to run this into your boat. The skinny end goes into your boat, the fat end goes into the antenna outside. So start from the outside, work your way in. This comes standard at 12 meters long, so that's that. The next piece in the equation is this little thing here. And this is the adapter cable that goes from the big cable into the Go unit. So that's how that goes. So when you get the package, you'll have some other bits for mounting your Go unit. Your Go unit's part of that package, by the way. And there's a couple of ways you can mount it in your boat. We recommend you mount it high and near a window. The reason for that is that the GPS signal comes from here, not from here. This is for your satellite data, your voice, your emails, your SMS, but your GPS comes from this unit. And so having that high in the boat and near a window is good. If you have a carbon boat or an aluminium boat, the GPS has trouble penetrating that, you can have a look at the YB3i that we sell. Okay, so next, and somewhere else where you want to have it is so that you can have it plugged in, with a charger cable. Anything else that I need in there, Kieran? Oh no, I was going to talk about the SIM card. So the other thing you need to get going is a SIM card, and Kieran will talk a bit more about activating a SIM card. But this is a SIM card from us. We recommend when you order it that you get a 3 of them or whatever. Craig often recommends you get 5 or 6 so that you can sell them at the bar for drinks. The reason that we recommend that you get a bunch of these is that then you can just deactivate and when you've finished your journey, and activate when you want to go offshore again or when you're out of comms. So that's that. And I think that's pretty much the stuff that comes in the case. And I will hand over to Kieran, who was going to talk about the Iridium Go app and the Iridium Mail app. And we've got a pretty tricky maneuver going on here with our seats, so look out.
All right, thanks, Nick. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you today about how you get the whole system working. You need to have an active SIM card. You've obviously got your Iridium Go already mounted in your boat. How you get that to work, how you make a phone call, send a text message and things like that. I'll do a little bit of screen sharing, so you'll just have to bear with me as I switch to different screens just to show you a few things. The first thing you really need to do is to activate the SIM card. So to do that, you need to have obviously your SIM card, and it has a number printed on the back of it, and that's really important. The other number that you need is under the Iridium Go battery in here, and it's called the IMEI number. Those 2 numbers together help you activate the SIM card. What I'm going to do is just share my screen and I'll show you how to do that. So just bear with me for a second while I figure out how to do that. Here we go. So I'm just going to share and go. All right. Sorry, here we go. I need to go up to the screen. Okay. So you've got your SIM cards here. Printed on the SIM card is the directions for how to activate it. Now you need to have a PredictWind SIM card to activate in our system. It's very important because the SIM cards are dedicated to different suppliers. So if you want to use our service, you need our SIM cards. So you need the number on the back. What we get you to do is to activate in our satellite portal, and we've created this satellite portal so that you can control all of your billing yourself. So if you went to the website PredictWind.com up here, and then this is our main sales page. If you go over here to activate a SIM card, or you can access the portal. So we would activate our SIM card here. It takes you through to the next page, and here is where you want to activate the SIM card. What I was saying before, the number and the IMEI number. Once you put those numbers in, you continue to your plan. Now we offer 3 plans, but we always recommend the unlimited plan. It's by far the best value. It's $139.95 per month. And if I click on here, go back one, plan details. Basically what the unlimited plan gives you is unlimited text messages, unlimited emails, unlimited weather downloads, plus 150 minutes of voice calls per calendar month. So it's a really good deal. And what it means is that you never have any bill shock from, going over on using too much data, especially when you're trying to download weather twice a day. With PredictWind, we update our weather forecast twice a day. So definitely go for the unlimited plan. Once you continue on to the select the plan, we also offer you a PredictWind advanced warranty. We call it a POR. Iridium offer a 1-year warranty, but if something does go wrong in your boat, especially when you're cruising, you want to get a new one really quickly. If you pay the extra for the POR, we'll replace it very quickly within 5 days, whereas the standard warranty is up to 8 weeks. So we definitely recommend that. All right, so once you've activated the SIM card, I'm just going to unshare my screen. Here we go. You get an email from PredictWind with your number. So your phone number is an 8816 number. It's an international number. And then people can call you on that number. So once you've got all that going, we'll also email you with instructions on how to set up the unit. And it's really important that you follow our instructions. We've worked really hard at trying to get these right and to help you the best possible way. So the Iridium Go unit is not plug and play. We don't want you messaging us as you're motoring out of the dock before you lose cell reception saying it's not working. You really need to spend a decent amount of time setting this up before you leave. Now we've got amazing support staff here. We're all sailors. We all understand what you're going through. We've got Olympians, we've got Volvo sailors, Whitbread sailors, dinghy sailors, cruisers. So we get it, and we're here to help you. But it is something that you have to be proactive and actually jump on and give it a good test before you leave. Right, so once you've got the SIM card active, within 10 minutes we send you that message and then you're ready to go. So you put the SIM card in the Iridium Go unit, and I'm going to share my screen again. We use a couple of apps to use the Iridium Go. The Iridium Go app is what you use to make phone calls and send text messages. So I'm just going to share my screen through to the iPad and I'll show you how that all works. Bear with me. So it's coming up and you just see in a minute my iPad starting up. Okay, so you should see my iPad on the screen now. Really important that once you have the active SIM card, you need to make it work. You use a couple of the apps, but the first thing that we all forget to do is join your iPad to the Iridium Go Wi-Fi. So here we go to settings, and then up here to select the Iridium network, which I've already selected here. Once you've done that, you can go back and use the Iridium Go app, this one here. The Iridium Go app lets you make phone calls and send text messages, and it's really simple to use. So if you wanted to make a call to someone, you would click on the call button here, and then to make a call, the Iridium number, you have to use an international dialing sequence. So even if you're sitting next to someone in the boat next door and you're both in England, you still have to use +004 or 0044. So you go 0044 and then the number and then call. And you can see up here, I've got 5 bars of signal strength and I'm ready to go. You'd push call and that would make the call for you. Same with text messaging. I'm just going to go back to home up here. Text messaging is just as easy. You click on message here, and then I would create a message up in this corner. And same again, you can text message to a phone, a cell phone, or to an email address, and then send. And it's pretty much instantaneous, or instant, is that anyway. Right, so that's the very basics of the Iridium Go app. Now, all of these instructions are on our help website, help.predictwind.com, and of course you can contact support at any time. So we'll just go back now. We're going to work on the Iridium Mail and Web app next. So I'm going to go back here. I'm just going to share a different screen. There's a little bit of setup for the Iridium Mail app because you need to register with Iridium first. So just bear with me. I'm just going to stop sharing this screen and go back to my computer and share a different screen. Okay, so we just moved from that one to the, right. So once you're ready to set up an Iridium email address, Iridium offer an email address for free and you need to register with them. This is the page that you need to go to. Again, these are in our help topics, Iridium Mail, and you register for an email address. So you would do something like the name of your boat, and once the username would be like my boat, the email address would be myboat@myiridium.net. Once you've done the registration, you receive an email from Iridium, and these bits are key to setting up the Iridium email. So you need your name, your username, and your password here. So once we have those, you need to configure the Iridium Mail and Web app so that you can send and receive emails. I'm going to just unshare this screen and I'm going to go back to my iPad. Sorry for the jumping around. And I'll show you just very briefly about the Iridium Mail and Web app. And again, we can help you with this later if you have any questions on that. Sorry, just sharing now. Okay, So here is the Iridium Mail app. And if we go there, to configure the Iridium Mail app, you need to go into the settings here. And this is where I've got no account configured at the moment. You would use that name, username, and password that we did with data support. And once you've done that, you just save it and then it's all set to go. The only other thing you need to do is connection. Iridium Go for mobile devices. You need to tell the Iridium Mail app what to look for. And because we're using an Iridium Go, this is critical. You have to have this connection set up this way, otherwise it won't work. Okay, so once that's all set up, we go back to the main menu, and it's just as easy as the Iridium Go app. You would click on Mail, and then down in the bottom corner here, click on Write an Email, and there's nothing. I haven't got anything set up there at the moment because this is a fresh app, but it's just as simple as any other email app. You write who you want to send it to, your text, and then you send. Once you're ready to send, it will connect to the Iridium Go as long as your device is connected through the Wi-Fi, and you just send and receive email that way. And it does take a little bit of time because of the slow data of the Iridium Go. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and just double check if there's anything else on my list that I need to talk about. Just bear with me. So in the Iridium Mail, a couple of things to note. The Iridium Go app for texting, it's any device that's connected on your boat to the Iridium Go will receive those text messages, so they're not private. So if you've got crew on your boat, you just need to be careful. Everyone will get those messages. So we always recommend that anybody that wants to have private messages sets up their email address, and each email address is private and specific to each device. So you put in your username and password, you can get your own emails. So that's a really important thing. A good idea is to send messages via the Iridium messaging website. I'm just going to share my screen with you again. Bear with me because this is a pretty cool thing. Where are we at? Here we go. I'm just going to share this screen. This is a really good tip. So this Iridium messaging website, essentially sending a message to an Iridium phone costs a lot of money. A lot of cell services won't actually let you do it. So Iridium have developed this Iridium messaging website where you can send messages for free to an Iridium phone. So like if I'm at sea and my mum wants to contact me, she'll message me on this and say, call me non-urgent, and then I'll call her back with my 150 free minutes to save her money, and I can use up my 150 minutes. Anyway, I'm going to pass over to Nick now, and he's going to talk about the offshore app, and then I'll come back and talk about the GPS tracking. So we're going to do our tricky maneuver again. So stand by.
Rightio. Thanks, Kieran. I saw on the chat that earlier that I was told to move over. You were better looking. That's subjective, but I'll take it. I'm happy with that. Rightio. So I am going to talk about the offshore app. So the offshore app is a PredictWind piece of software. It's an Iridium certified piece of software. It's pretty amazing. We're going to go through a very basic use of it today. But if you want to dive deep into this software, there is more data in this software than you can use. I'm a bit of a, said before at the start that I'm a bit of a weather out and geek. I love it, and there's just so much information there. You can, so many options you can choose. But we're going to go through today the sort of the basic setup, how you get going, make this work off the gun. So what am I going to do? I think I just opened go into the app, don't I, Kieran? Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to I'm going to share the page. So just odd coming back into the computer after Kieran's been messing with it. So let's share my page here and go into this. And yeah, so I'm basically going to, first of all, we're going to talk about polars. And so if you don't know what polars are, you're about to learn. Polars are essential. So polars are how fast we think your boat is going to go. So that's how fast, is that sharing? Oh, it's because I haven't clicked the share button. So polars are how fast we think your boat's going to go. And why that's important is that that's how fast we think you're going to, make it across your passage. That shows where you're going to be in 3 days' time, in relation to this weather system. So that's, that's critical. That's as important as having excellent weather models. So how we do this is, see here, I'm going to go, and there's two ways to do it. We can do it through the PredictWind app, or we can do it in the PredictWind forecast website. So today we're going to do it in the PredictWind app. Tomorrow we might do it through the website. So I'm going to tap on here, and I'm already in weather routing, turns out. And so yeah, I could have chosen this from the menu, and I'm going to go up here, and up here on the right, there's this little settings wheel. I'm going to tap on there. I'm going to tap on there, and you can see here I can choose boat polars. I'm going to go in there, and I have got the predefined polar. So what we do here is we've got a list of boats, and so you can choose a boat that's, your boat might be in there, your boat might not be in there. If your boat's not in there, and there's a boat that's similar to yours, that goes about the same sort of speed in general, and same sort of performance, you can choose that boat. The default is a Beneteau 40.7, so if you never change this, you're going the same speed as a Beneteau 40.7. We do have you can choose to set up a sail polar as well, which is another simple way of doing it. I'll look at that a bit more tomorrow. So we've set up our polar, and so now we can go back out of here, and I'm going to say I'm done, and I can calculate my route. Oh no, we're actually the reason no maps come up here is I've just realized that Kieran's left me connected to the Iridium Go. So the PredictWind app, it's not for the Iridium Go. So we're going to go out of this app, and so we'll go into our settings here, and Wi-Fi up here, and we can see we're connected to the Iridium. What I should have done was connected to my land-based Wi-Fi, and I could have set that up. Anyhow, so let's get out of there and go into the offshore app over here. And we're going to tap on the map. And what we can see here is a route that I downloaded earlier. I'm in New Zealand, so we've got a New Zealand route set up, and I'm going to go into this thing to close that. And so the first thing we need to do is we need to set up our start and finish waypoints. And so for today, I'm just going to move these around. So the green one here, this one here, that's my start, and this is my finish one here, this red one. And I've got an intermediary waypoint. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. I'm going to this little thing here, and I'm going to remove that one. And I'm going to press done. So if we want to set these waypoints, we can enter our lat long, or we can just move them on the map. So I'm going to go in here. I press this button up here to open up my menu, and I can go into here into Grib Offshore, which I'm in, and you'll see here I've got my area, and this is the area of the Grib that I'm going to download. And if I change the space, that's how the area I'm going to download. So also if I move this waypoint here, it automatically sets. But, you know, say here in New Zealand, if I zoom out a little, often our weather's coming from the west. I might choose to make this area a bit bigger and look throughout the west. Anyhow, so this is all what I'm leading into here is this is all about controlling our file size. For the Iridium Go, it's very important to control our file size. So now I'm going to tap on, I can click on this download, tap on this download here, or I could use this one up here. I'm going to tap on here, and we're going to go into what we call the download settings. So high resolution grids. What I've done is I've gone through and turned on some stuff, and I'm going to show you why we do and don't have certain things. So we've got our high resolution grids on here. These are too big to download on the Iridium Go, but that's okay because the high resolution grids are used in our weather routing. So we don't need to visualize it. If we were on land and we're on a land-based Wi-Fi and we're getting our we're planning our trip or whatever, we can use these high resolution grids. They're awesome. But for the Iridium Go download, we're going to turn them off. And so I'll just turn that back on. See 12.1 megabytes. I turn them off. 250 kilobytes. So for the Iridium Go, we want to get this. We could download that, no problem. But because we're starting out, we want to go a bit smaller than that. So we're going to move on to our next setting here, which is our offshore grids. And we're going to tap on offshore grid preferences. So in here, we can choose the forecast models that we're going to download. So we'll just tap on that. So we could choose to get one model or a couple of models, but we want to see them all. And that's a fine. There's no problem having that setting. So we're going to leave that as it is. But say we wanted to get the ECMWF 9K, that's going to be a big file. But if we wanted to choose that, we could. And just if you want to look at a particular model, you could. But we're going to get all four because we want to compare the models. That's what it's all about. We don't want to just rely on one model. We want to do some comparison. So we're going to close that. Our interval, we're set at 24 hourly. That's fine. So the group, when the forecast is made, the time step is each 3 hours. But if I go to that, if I go to the 3 hourly, we're going to get a really big file size because you're going to get a grid file for the whole area every 3 hours. But we don't need to get that because the software will interpolate between the time steps. So we can go to 12 or 24. Either would be fine. Our weather routing is using 3 hourly. So we're only using the grid files for a to visualize what's going on. So we don't need to see it all. So I'm going to tap out of there up here. And so days, we've got the full model run there, 14 days. We don't need that. So we're going to, because our weather route will go for the whole period, but because we're trying to control our file size for the Iridium Go download, we're going to tap on 5 days. That's something you can choose. You might choose to get a couple of models to visualize and increase your days. But this is how we recommend doing it. So that's what we're going to do today. And then our resolution. So that's the granularity of the forecast. And we can choose 50 or 100. They're both, they're offshore grids. This isn't the high resolution 8K or 1K stuff. And we'll just, because we're going to do this download live, we're going to do the 100K. And so then we've got our parameters that we can choose. And this is, for different parts of the world, you might choose different things. But the basics are the wind, pressure, and the rain. With a wave, that's in our weather routing. We can see that in the tables in our weather routing. Gust, it's a good one. I mean, if you think that it's a bit marginal, have a look at the gusts, because when you're looking at the grids, the wind grids, you're looking at averages. The gusts are going to show you those peaks, and it can make your route look really different. So anyway, for our purposes of our demonstration, we're going to leave it off. But all of this stuff is up to you. You can decide. You can get your own preferences, things that matter to you at different times, depending on the situation where you are in the world. It's a great tool because you can select what you want. So I've just tapped back there. So again, ocean data, this is awesome. But if I turn it on, we get a really big file size, and I could go into the preferences there. The ocean data, it's a professional subscription feature, and it's really awesome. It gives you all the currents. You can visualize all the currents, but it's too big to download over the Iridium Go. It is going to be calculated in your weather routing, but what you can also do is before you leave, you can download the ocean data, and you've got 7 days of ocean data. So you might not be going on a 7-day trip, but for 7 days you've got the ocean data, and because the ocean and tidal currents don't change quickly, you can they'll be there in the offshore app if you've downloaded them before you leave. So your weather route will run over the top of them, and you can see what's going on. So, but we're going to turn that off. So for our Iridium Go download, and here we can select our routing mode. So we're going to do standard weather routing. We could choose to do departure planning or a destination spot forecast, which is what we'd use at an anchorage. Departure planning is what we'd use before we go. It'll show you different times to leave and what the forecast looks like. Very clever tool. Anyhow, let's go back. GMDSS forecast, get this every time, get it. It is a forecast written by a meteorologist for the area that you're in. It covers a really big area of ocean, but it's a skilled person has sat there and written out this bunch of warnings and all sorts of stuff. Just a really good overview of what's going on in your area. Get it every time. It's a small file size. Satellite imagery, again, it's a big picture stuff. If you want to get it. I mean, we can download this. It's, see our file size down the bottom here. If I turn that on, that's not too big. We can do 250, 300 kilobytes if we want to. But we're doing this live, so we're not going to get it. Our tracking data, we're going to get our tracking data. It's a neat feature that PredictWind has, and if you've got a friend group or you're in a rally, you can see where everyone else is, and you can see what they've written about in their blog. It's pretty awesome. Your little friend group out at sea is pretty invaluable. So now we're down the bottom here. We've set all our parameters up, and we're going to tap on continue to download. So you'll see here we've got all our files there. I haven't chosen a very big area, so we've got pretty small file sizes. And up the top here, I need to choose my connection type. And you'll see here there's a bunch of connection types. So email down here, if we were on an SSB, we would create an email request to send over our SSB. And then basically every other satellite connection that you can think of, we've got it covered there. So, but the sort of the winner for cost effectiveness is the Iridium Go and usability. So we're going to tap on that guy there. You'll see here my signal strength 0, status not detected. It's about to, it'll recognize it in a second. There we go, look at that, boom. So I've got my signal strength is 5. We want 5. 5's the maximum. 5's where it's at. We're ready to connect, and then download all. I can download them all, but if I wanted to, I could tap on one of these and I could just get a couple of things, you know. Anyhow, let's tap on download all, and I will keep talking. So you'll see here the Iridium Go is going to go through its dialing sequence. It's connecting to the satellites, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that we're connecting to the satellites, and this whole sequence takes about 30 to 45 seconds. And there we go. So we've dialed up, we're authenticated, and in a second we will see action happen down here. There we go, connected. So we are now downloading via satellite, and we're going to get our tracking data. And it's going to, what it's going to do, it's going to work its way through these things, these files here that we've requested. So I've actually got quite a bit of tracking data there. So we've got 25 kilobytes. And then it's going to come into the weather route, and then we have 4 models. So while this is all happening, I'm going to do a little bit of a talk about why we have the 4 models. So you'll see here we've got the PWG, we've got the PWE, got the GFS, got the ECMWF. The PWG and the PWE, they are PredictWind models. We are the only private company in the world that runs global weather models on a daily basis, and these models are really good. Sort of 30 years they've been worked on. Really good weather models. It's a unique feature of PredictWind. Nobody else has these. They are very good. And what's more is once you get into the high resolution stuff, these weather models can beat the Sky, the #1 weather model in the world. So the next one down here is the GFS. GFS is the sort of the standard. You know, everyone has a GFS. It's from the US Met Service, NOAA. It's a good weather model, and we have it so that we've got that model that everyone else is using. It's free. That's why everyone has it. The ECMWF. This is the #1 weather model in the world. It is very good. We pay a lot of money to get the data, and that's one of the reasons we're a paid service is that we have this weather model and the way that we're able to distribute it and within our software. As I said, it is the #1 weather model in the world. It's very good, very good. So nice to have. And I'm just gonna, what's happened? So you'll see up here, so we've had a unique live webinar feature that the Iridium Go has lost its connection for whatever reason, and it is gonna reconnect. Yeah, I've stopped the tracking data. It should be reconnecting for us. There we go. So what it's done here is, for whatever reason, we lost our connection, and the software has automatically restarted the process. So the nice thing that it does is that it doesn't forget about where it was. It knows where it was, and it will automatically reconnect and start our download again. I probably shouldn't have tried to do the tracking data on a live webinar. Anyhow, this is how it works. So it's good to see, and this is the reality. We're on a satellite connection in the every other time I've done this where that hasn't happened. So good to see. So you see we've come here, we've connected again, and we will see it start downloading again. Have I stopped? I want to stop the tracking. Yeah, I'm going to stop the tracking. Oh, I've started again. Rightio. What am I doing here? So we've stopped. Oh, do you know why? Do you know what I've been doing? I've been clicking with the mouse. So I've actually got an iPad in front of me and I've been clicking on the mouse. Let's stop that. There we go. Okay. Beauty. There you go. Keeping it real. Anyhow, so we're back in action. Our weather route is now downloading, and then it'll start moving into the next models. So what's going to happen now is this is all going to happen really quickly now, because the weather route has gone off. It's sent the little package that said, oh look, Nick's here, he's heading to here, and it is our servers have calculated the weather route, and it sent the little package back with this really valuable piece of information. A lot of data that has come in that weather route, and you'll see now we've got our grids are downloading and looking good. So there we go. I'll just talk a little bit more about the weather route. So the weather route is really your key piece of data. It's got a lot of information in it. It tells you, how long you're going to be there. It tells you what is going on there. It tells you what's going on, for each point of your trip. It tells you what direction you need to be pointing. It, you're heading. It's got your wave, it's got your current, it has got everything. So because I'm pretty sure that everyone doesn't want to see me blabber on about that. See, for whatever reason, I've disconnected again. I don't know why. And anyhow, we're dialing back in. Pretty poor example today, but this is, for whatever reason that's happened today, probably because we've got, this isn't Halley's Comet going over tonight. Yeah. No, so anyhow, we will, what I'm going to do, so I guess something else that I should probably mention is that it's really important to have this page open. So if I close this page, the connection would have stopped, and we don't want that. And I'm going to I'll let the GFS download. And as you can see, it's actually moving pretty quick. I'm not sure why I've had connection issues today. There we go, our ECMWF. Moving through. Is everyone still watching? Yep. That's good. Cool. ECMWF is coming in. I always knew that doing a live satellite download was going to be fun, and but it's good. And I'm going to let it finish off. And there we go. And what I'm also going to let you show is that when it's finished, as we've seen twice already, is that it will disconnect and finish up. And so now I'm going to close up here, and you'll see here I'm going to tap on that, and I'm going to close that. And what I've got here is my tables. And so in my tables here, this is my weather routing tables, and I've got my graph, and I can see my trip, you know, the different parameters for my trip. Wind, that shows me my wind speed and my true wind direction, true wind angle, and my course over ground, speed over ground. This is where we check our polars are correct down here. We can compare it, you know, we can say, well, my boat doesn't go 9.5 knots and 27 knots of breeze, you know, it's made of cement, it's a ferro boat, it doesn't go that fast. Or maybe it goes faster, maybe you've got a cat. So check your polars in the tables here. I'll tap on the summary there. Great piece of information here. I can see how long my trip's going to take. I can see, you know, my time upwind, my time reaching. Look, we're all reaching. That's what we want. And the wind speeds and wave. So a bunch of other things here. Our route with our lat longs, wave, the current, and I could also export my route to a piece of navigation software. And then the pretty bit that everybody likes is here. And I can press play, and I can play my route, and I know what I've done here. It's not going to start till Friday because I'm doing a race on Friday, and I'd set the start time till then. And I can go through here, and I can see what's happening in the route. As you can see in my little example here, all of these routes are going the same way. If we saw the routes splitting apart, we would know that there was a bit of uncertainty in the forecast, and we would look at why that was, and we would try and, if there was 2 or 3, you know, 3 models saying to go the same way, we would choose that way to go. What I can do here is I can tap on one of these little balls on the screen here, and that tells on the route, that tells me the wind direction, what angle I'm sailing at. So 79 degrees, I'm on port, 79 degrees true wind angle, my course, my boat speed, the current, the direction of the current, the wave height, the wave direction, and the period. So this, as I've been saying, the weather routing information is really awesome. It's where you really make the, you know, how you can really make the decisions of what you want to do. I can change my weather model down here. So whichever weather model I'm looking at, that dictates the color of the track. So the 4 tracks indicate the weather routing for each model. So if you're looking at the red, if we've got the red model selected down here, the PWE, we're looking at the red track. You can see here they're all doing the same thing. So, but there's not too much difference between them. Very consistent forecast. So I think that's probably about all we'll go through on the weather routing on the offshore app for now, and the weather routing. We'll have a quick look at the GMDSS. I'll just quickly show you the GMDSS. So I've just opened up the menu again up here, and we've got all our other options here that we could choose from, and we got our GMDSS. So as you can see, it covers a big area, but a meteorologist here in New Zealand has written this, and you'll see here its warnings. And this is a really valuable piece of information, and you know, something you should get and understand what you're looking at and where you're going. So I'm going to tap back on that and zoom in on my map again, and I'm going to hand over to Kieran, and she's going to go through. Oh, hang on, I'm not ready for the seat zoom yet. And she's going to go through the the tracking. So I'll just unshare the screen and you get to see my pretty face again before Karen comes in. All right, thank you.
Hello, and back again. Okay, cool. Just before we go on to GPS tracking, I've been watching the chat and I just wanted to talk a little bit about the SIM cards. There was some questions about why you needed extra SIM cards and why that. And so the reason we suggest extra SIM cards is we don't offer this, but Iridium can reactivate an old SIM card, but they charge you $250 each time you want to use the same SIM card over and again. So you might want to use it for 3 months and then you winter the boat and then you want to start it again. If you did want to use that old SIM card, $250 to reactivate it. So we don't offer that. It's really expensive. The best way around it is to use a new SIM card. With PredictWind, there's no activation fee and we prorata the first month. So if you wanted to activate halfway through the month, you only pay for the last half of the month that you're going to use. The SIM cards themselves are only $10 to keep and they come to you on hold. So you can have 3 or 4 of them in your chart table and then you just use them as you need them. So you can stop and start the service, the airtime service, to suit your needs. So the things that you need to understand are you need the SIM card that connects your Iridium Go to the satellites. But on top of that, to get our PredictWind weather, you need to have the standard level of PredictWind weather forecasting service. So you need to have the 2 things. The standard subscription gives you the weather and the SIM card and the airtime gives you that connection. So you can make the phone calls, send the text messages and things like that. So I hope that clears that up. We offer a really cool thing at PredictWind and it's the GPS tracking. So what we can do is we can create a GPS tracking page specific for your boat name. And it's a web link that friends and family can use to follow you as you're cruising around your trip. All we need to know is your boat name. If you have a PredictWind SIM card, we'll give it to you with the standard subscription free. If you choose to use a different provider, we'd like to think that you use PredictWind, but if you did want to use somebody else, we can still set up a GPS tracking page for you. You just have to have the pro level of subscription to get that GPS tracking. So I'm going to show you a GPS tracking page. It's a really cool feature. It's a great safety thing for family and friends as well. They can follow you hourly, so you can set your Iridium Go up to automatically send position reports to us every hour on the hour, and we'll update your tracking page in real time so that people can see that you're moving, that you're safe, and it's all okay. So just bear with me. I'm just going to share here. This one and share, and I need to go to, so one of our support members, Craig Smiley we call him, he's just done a trip. He's just bought a boat back from Fiji. He arrived back yesterday and this is his tracking page. So along the way, so you can see they've done a full loop. They went up to Fiji and then back again. So this is the specific tracking link for his boat, the SV Alia. Oh, and so all the way along, we tracked him every hour. And then the really cool thing that we've added lately is that you can blog within your app, and you can do this from the offshore app while you're at sea. So friends and family view this page on their web, on their computer at home or their phone, however they want to watch it, and they can see your GPS tracking, and they can see. Oh, I'm not. My screen sharing is paused. Over time, is that one? No.
Just tap on that there.
Stop sharing. Sorry, I just want to make sure that you can see that. So I'm just going to try sharing it again. Sorry, technical difficulties. That one. There we go. Okay. Hopefully you can see that now. Sorry about that. Hopefully, so yeah. Anyway, so this is the GPS tracking page for Smiley's boat that he's just delivered back to New Zealand. The blog posts are down the side here, so you can add these from the offshore app while you're at sea. And then when you get to port and you've got good internet connection, you can actually add photos as well, which is really cool. And it's a good, a history of what's happened on your track. So I'll just double check I've got nothing else to say about GPS tracking. I just think everybody should have this. It's a fantastic, and it's a real good safety feature as well for friends and family to follow you. We've got some new features that we just introduced into the GPS tracking now, where you can view groups of people that are around you. Any boat within 60 miles, you can follow them as well. And also we have, rallies. We can set up rallies, and so you can follow a decent amount of people, and you can upload all of that data into your offshore app to keep track of everyone as you're at sea. So I hope that's been helpful. I'm going to pass back over to Nick to finish up, and we look forward to talking to you tomorrow. So Nick's going to follow up tomorrow with another webinar for any questions. If you've got anything else that you want to ask us, I'm going to unshare this, stop sharing the screen. Anything else you want to ask us, please feel free to email into support@predictwind.com at any time. And anything else to add?
No, if you've got some specific questions, just send them through. We're happy to talk about them tomorrow. I think tomorrow we'll probably do we'll use the computer a bit more rather than the iPad. So because there's some small differences between the iPad and the computer, and so we'll look at the computer a bit more tomorrow, and any other questions that people have.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining in. We've really enjoyed doing this, and look forward to talking to you on support at some stage. All right. Thanks. Bye.